Oh. Great. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. I was just saying, I realized I was muted. That when it was made a joint meeting, they created 2 logins. And so we've had multiple people. And I think we may have solved it. Ah, excellent. Hello, Elaine.
Hi.
Excellent. Well, thank you all. Some of you from sunny shores, so welcome. We're a few minutes after 4, so I think we have a quorum for both the Housing Partnership and the Housing Authority. So I will call the meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Local Housing Partnership and the Wellfleet Housing Authority on February 24th at 4 o'clock, held via Zoom per government allowances. Hope everyone is okay. What I thought I would do, since the one item that is in common is the zoning corrections or the zoning issues. So if it's okay with everyone, I'd like to move that up to the front of the meeting and let us take care of it, and then we can go on with our regular housing business. Is that okay with everyone? Yes?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So actually, I see Elaine is here and I see Sharon was with us. Sharon is here,
Oh, she's here.
but I don't see, Helen called me a couple of times on this and wanted to talk. And I don't see Olga, who suggested she was going to be here. So Elaine, do you want to take the lead and explain what the need is?
Okay, well, thank you. And I want to thank you all for allowing us to join you for this meeting. The other people may be trying to log into the other meeting, but
I don't know how to check that.
yeah. But we have our Housing Authority quorum here. So I think most of you know that last year we successfully brought a new ADU bylaw by right to town meeting. Helen says waiting to join. Who's hosting?
I think she may be in the other meeting.
I'll tell her to join the other meeting.
And I'll try and see if I can reach Olga.
And the bylaw was approved by the Attorney General. When some of the first people interested in coming to do an ADU came to Victor Staley, our interim building inspector, he was unclear from reading the new bylaw that it could allow more than one ADU. And he, also working with our new building inspector, James Badera, suggested some minor edits to the bylaw, which
So anyway, there was confusion because there's two links.
which Sharon and Helen and I in particular
Okay.
looked at and felt were worth putting forward. So those
Oh, no problem. We're just starting the topic, so.
those small
the first
amendments
one.
have been drafted into our current ADU bylaw. And we would like to have them put forward so that the select board can take it up, hopefully, and then send it to the planning board. I think everybody was sent a copy of it. I don't know if we need Gary to put it up.
I will if people want me to.
Maybe you better, Gary.
Okay.
In the top left there, Gary.
Yep. So go ahead. Yeah, you carry on, Elaine. I just spoke to Olga and she's joining us in a minute.
Okay.
And Helen is now here.
Okay. As we go through, these were the changes suggested by the building commissioner. And simply adding the word unit. I don't know if you want to go through, Gary, or if you want to take questions as we go through.
Sure. I see Jan has her hand up. So Jan.
Mine relate to the use regulations chart. So whenever you want to have a conversation about that, let me know.
Okay, so let's just take it one at a time, Elaine. So in section 2.1, the only change there is they added the word unit.
Right.
Any issues with that? Seeing none, let's scroll down.
Well, the next one was the use table, which Jan has a question about.
Oh, Jan, I'm sorry.
So as I understand it, the term we're going to be using now is not accessory dwelling, but accessory dwelling unit. So you need to use that specific term. You need to change it in the use chart. Okay, it can't be dwelling, comma, accessory. It has to be dwelling unit, comma, accessory, and it has to shift down in alpha order under dwelling, comma, one family. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, good catch.
There's another problem, and I believe it's Jennifer Congel's problem, but I'm going to bring it up here. Elaine, do you understand what I mean?
We did talk about that. Olga had put that forward just a few days ago.
You can't use
And-
two different terms.
Oops.
Otherwise, your term accessory dwelling unit doesn't exist in the use chart, as I see it.
Not sure why it went off. Can you, no, I've done something now.
Helen and I discussed it briefly and didn't think it was absolutely necessary, but if it really is, that's certainly a reasonable.
I just don't understand how you can have a term in the definition section that doesn't exist in your regulations chart.
Carrie?
Yes, Helen, but
While
before
we're
we,
waiting, I have to say, I agree with Jan, and Olga had brought it up. I'm just kind of the drafting mule, and Victor Staley didn't catch it, but it wouldn't change anything in the content. It would make it more correct, Jan. I agree with you. So if you guys want to stick that in, that sounds good to me.
so
The
Elaine,
dwelling unit, comma, accessory in that
Yeah, and
chart.
then you put it 2 beats down, right? Yeah, that's housekeeping. It, is more accurate. So
The other problem, and it isn't yours to deal with, but I think there were errors in the town warrant, and I think the directions then to the town clerk were confused because she also, instead of just removing affordable accessory dwelling, she took out dwelling, comma, affordable, which has to go back. I have to talk to her. That's a definition from 6.28, which is a long bylaw called provisions to encourage the development of affordable dwellings in Wellfleet. That was passed in 2011. That she shouldn't have taken that out. And I don't believe town warrant instructed her to do that, but I think she got confused because there were some errors in in the language of the warrant article. So I have to talk to her. That has to go back in.
Okay. But
well, it's important because we can't really vote today on something unless we agree on the actual language. It can't be the spirit of it, is my concern. Is that your understanding as well, Elaine and Helen?
yeah, I'm sure it would be helpful.
And Elaine, forgive me, I can't seem to get the document back up.
When you had your desktop up again, if you just double clicked on it again on the top left. There, now double click on that.
Oh, there you go. I don't know why it disappeared, but it did. Okay, so,
I don't think we have any trouble with adding the word
okay,
unit.
so,
And then shifting it down for alpha
Okay.
order. But I have to talk to Jennifer because, this particular chart isn't correct because she took something out that shouldn't have been taken out.
well, with regard, the only thing that we are changing is the ADU. Are you saying, is this relating to an issue other than the ADU?
Well, I'm saying that there's an entry in the use chart here that's missing that has to go back in. It's dwelling, comma, affordable. And it's with a special permit in every district except the National Seashore where it's not permitted. And it relates to bylaw 6.28. I don't know why she removed it by accident, but this is this chart really shouldn't go in the warrant as it exists.
Okay, Helen,
Yes, through you to Jan. I appreciate your noticing that. I remember after town meeting, when we finally got to look at, when the dust had settled, right? I thought, well, why did that happen? It's a mistake. However, that is an incorrect thing. You're right. That's a term which is used in another section that has nothing to do with the ADU.
Right.
Okay? There is no use for that definition in the ADU bylaw. That's my point. So what's being dealt with right now, in my opinion, and as posted, is simply the ADU housekeeping tweaks. And I feel that you could put in the word unit, dwelling unit. You could change that, comma, accessory, and take it down 2 notches, right? To put it make it alphabetical. And that would be relating to this one article tweak.
And
Your point is another section, another article, and not what the select board would then send to the planning board as relates to asking them to have a hearing on this non-substantive, but.
Correct. It doesn't relate to any article. It's something she took out in error.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to do with this.
Right, but right. And I'm going to email her. I'll copy everybody and she has to fix this though before it goes on the warrant. Because it
doesn't go on the warrant. It would be good if it did go on the warrant, but remember, it would have to go to the planning board too, and it might be too late for that. By the way, there are other things in the zoning bylaw that need to be fixed.
It's not going to have to go to the planning board because it's her error. She made an error.
Okay, excuse me, both of you. Let's agree to stick to the topic. Let's not get lost in the minutia. Dan, can I ask you, you are the one I think that has the most familiarity with the bylaw, so that when we're done with this, if we agree on the ADU language, and then whatever other corrections you think need to be made, you will communicate with the town clerk.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's exactly what I plan to do.
Thank you very much, Jan. Is there any other change other than the putting this in a different order that we need to make on this chart?
Gary, Sarah Pachukas is trying to get back into the meeting. She got bumped out.
I don't see someone asking to come in, Elaine.
Okay. All right, well, let's keep going. In terms of who's going to then send this to Ryan again, how do you move it down?
I'll move this down.
I mean, in the chart, we're going to have to change. I'm not good at that.
I'm going to ask Jan to take care of that.
No, I mean, we have to put what we just changed in alphabetical order, and I don't know how to do that
I'll tell you what.
in the chart.
We'll do this offline. Everyone agrees that we can move it as needed. Okay, so the next change I see is in 6.21.2. And are there comments or concerns with that change? Okay, seeing none. The next one is at 6.21.2.2 individual.
Gary,
Yes.
Barry, just back up a little bit on 621.1. The tense is wrong now. They've changed accessory dwelling units to plural, and it says and accessory dwelling units. Probably
Right.
should get rid of it. Or is there a strike through there? Oh, there is a strike through. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's a strike through on the and, so it says accessory dwelling units as defined.
No, okay, my little question though, is it now says section 2.1 definitions of the Wellfleet zoning bylaws are one or more additional dwelling unit. Is that okay? As opposed to one or more additional dwelling units?
on this line.
Go up.
It's okay.
Where is
Where
it?
are you? Elaine, where are you?
Where we were just looking where it says are one or more additional.
Which number? 6 point what?
6.21.2.
Okay.
Look at the word unit in the second line, it should be plural.
The word, yeah, the word unit in the second line, should that be plural? Any,
Oh, definition are one or more additional. plural.
6.21.2.
Should be units plural, shouldn't it? Let's find section 2 definition of are one or
So
more.
you are saying that we need to add an S here. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Yep.
Okay, is everyone in agreement on that?
Yes, and if it's a change though, make sure however you're indicating it with bold or red or whatever you're doing.
Both. Put it in bold and red. And the reason you put it in bold is so that it will show up on the warrant.
And
Thank you.
don't forget to do that with the change we made in the use chart.
Jan, forgive me,
Yes.
but are you going to be the keeper of the final language to send to the town clerk?
Me? No,
Yes, I
Yeah.
thought that's what you agreed to before.
no, I'm just going to talk to her about what got removed by error
Oh, I see.
in the use chart.
All right.
Very
I don't
so-
have any control over this, no.
Gary, I
okay.
think you or I will have to do it.
All right, so if it's okay with the members of both our committees, Elaine and I will compare notes after the meeting or tomorrow and send the corrected version, if we in fact pass one, to, I
And
guess,
send it-
to Rebecca for the select board meeting.
Right.
Okay?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's go back on 621.2, and I apologize to everyone, this is arcane, but it's necessary. So on 621.2, any other changes? Right, I'm scrolling down now to 621.2.2, where it says the word individual has been added. Are there any issues with that? Seeing none. Let's go down, and the next one is instead of in 621.2.5, the word commissioner has replaced the word inspector. Any issues? None?
Gary, I just have a question.
Yes, please.
I guess, I don't know how this got changed and that's fine, but our whole bylaw book is written building inspector. I mean, I'm just curious.
Sorry, it's Harry. It's a little odd. I think in the zoning act, the only position that is defined are inspector of buildings or building commissioner. I don't think building inspector appears in chapter 40A anywhere.
Hmm.
But
I guess we should update the zoning bylaws.
perhaps,
Figure out how to let,
Okay, that's all.
okay, so yes, building commissioner is acceptable.
I guess.
All right, so let's go down to 621.3 procedure, and the word each has replaced various, what are those prepositions? No? Any issues? So in 621.5, enforcement and penalties, once again, the word commissioner has replaced inspector. And then at the bottom, this is not part of the bylaw, but it is the explanation of why he suggested making these changes. It's my understanding that Victor Staley is not our current building commissioner. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Right.
Right, so. Okay, so if there is no other discussion, did Olga join us? And Olga, do you have any other comments or observations? I see you there. Oh. Olga,
Yeah,
you have-
okay, now I'm unmuted.
my apologies. Are there any other concerns that you have?
No, from what I caught of what Jan said, I agree with what she said. And I think I go by what I said earlier, is that I don't think these are needed.
Well, with
But-
all due respect, Olga, I
Yeah.
think we're past that discussion.
I see that, and
Right.
it's not going to change it any, it's not making it any clearer, but if you want to do it, you know, it's not making it worse. That's all I got.
Listen, we're like the physician, do no harm, so.
Right, okay.
All
Now
right,
go,
so,
you have my blessing.
thank you very much. All right. So we have gone through the changes, and what I'd like to propose is that someone make a motion, and I think we have to do this from two separate committees.
Yes.
So with regard to the partnership, would you like to, if my understanding is correct, we are making we are suggesting changes to the ADU zoning bylaw for the purpose of consideration by the select board and the planning board for placement on the town warrant. So that would be the motion I would make for the partnership.
So moved, Gary.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Susan. Susan, I'm hopeful that you as secretary just took that down.
I took down something.
All right,
I'm taking
because-
down that we, the local housing partnership, are voting to amend the ADU bylaw changes as suggested by the building commissioner.
Very good. For submission to the select board and the planning board for consideration the town warrant. I think that's the key.
Okay. I definitely did not take down the
Okay.
each or unit or something.
No, that's all right. I think we will finalize the language, and but I do want the motion to be correct. And Richard, if you have the same motion when we get to you, that'd be great. Okay, so it has been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion from the partnership? Seeing none, I would ask that all those in favor signify by saying aye and raising their hands. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Excellent. So it only took us a half an hour. All right, Elaine.
Gary, could you maybe take this down now so we can see everybody?
Take this down.
Yeah, close it.
So stop sharing.
Yeah, stop sharing.
Uh,
Great, wonderful. Okay, so now Housing Authority would entertain a motion to approve the edits to the ADU bylaw as proposed by the interim building inspector to be forwarded to the select board and the planning board for inclusion in the town warrant. Is there a motion?
Sure, I can move it, Elaine.
Sarah, okay. Sarah Pachukas, is there a second? Richard? Thank you. Any more discussion from the Housing Authority? Okay, I'm gonna just do a roll call vote. Gary,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Elaine, aye. Thank you. 4-0.
Excellent. So Elaine, you and I will go over, perhaps tomorrow, we
Mhm.
can review the language, make sure we have what people voted for and send it along to Rebecca.
Okay, thank you,
And
thank you,
sep-
everybody.
And separately, Jan, you are going to get in touch with the town clerk regarding the table itself.
I will copy in you and Elaine and the planning board and the zoning board, and because there's some, I mean, it's important to know that there's something missing from the zoning bylaws.
Great. Thank you so much. Is there anything else, Elaine, on the zoning issue that you want to raise?
Nope, I think I should adjourn the Housing Authority meeting, but can
Okay, but
entertain any
we have a
questions
question
before
from
we do that.
Helen
Mhm.
and let's see. Helen, yes.
Yeah, through you to Jen, and it's clear that this is clear to you, but make sure Jennifer understands that your concerns, your legitimate concerns, have nothing to do with these ADU tweaks. It's more, it's another part of it. Because I'm not sure everybody else will understand it who hasn't been at this meeting. Thank you.
Helen, I have a question for you. Do you know now when this will be on the select board agenda?
That's up to Ryan, but please, as soon as possible. The
All
whole,
right.
get the stuff to them as soon as possible.
Okay,
because
well, we will get
we've
it by
got
end of day tomorrow.
Thank you. We've got very kind of chunky agendas.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good.
Elaine, do you want to adjourn the Housing Authority meeting at this point? I invite anyone to stay who's interested.
Okay, so can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting of the Wellfleet Housing Authority?
So moved.
Second,
Sure.
Sarah. All in favor? Gary,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Elaine, aye. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you,
letting us
Elaine.
crash the party.
I apologize for the confusion about the two links. Okay, so
Everybody.
now I'm going to take back the Housing Partnership meeting and continue with the rest of our agenda. So the first item is the notes from the previous meeting of January 20th. Excuse me, the minutes. Entertain a motion?
I just have something to point out.
Sure, let's first get the motion, Judy, and then we can have the discussion. Who is moving the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Jan. Second. Thank you, Karen. Go ahead, Judy.
I just want to say that my name isn't Judith, it's Judy. So please correct that. Thank you.
All right. Any other corrections or amendments? Seeing none, I'll ask for the vote on accepting the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Excellent. So the next order of business is the mission statement. And I sent it to everyone. I can put it back up if you want. But it was at the bottom of the minutes. Would it be helpful to put it back up or you don't need it?
Got it.
No? Okay, fine. So the only thing I would suggest, so it says the strategies of the LHP are to develop and advocate for town policies and bylaws. Do we have to say for affordable housing? Or is it inherent in our name? It didn't seem to me like it could hurt, but
Well, that would be true of the second bullet too, if we're going to have.
exactly. I said the same thing to myself. So maybe it wouldn't hurt to put it in there.
Where did you want to put that, Gary?
See where it says develop and advocate for town policy and bylaws
Okay,
for affordable housing or in support of affordable housing or
I like in support of.
in support of affordable housing. Anybody else?
Sounds good.
Okay. And then the next one would be raise community consciousness and support. Does the word support include fundraising, you think? Because we haven't.
I think so.
Okay. Because the next one says, support the efforts of the trust and the housing authority, including raising funds from the community. So that's why I was wondering whether we needed that.
Do you need consciousness and support, or is consciousness enough? Raise community consciousness.
No, I think support,
Okay.
I mean,
You can be conscious and not support it.
right, right.
Good point.
I'm all for it, but I won't give you a single nickel.
Point taken.
So if we agree that the word support includes fundraising, or would you feel more comfortable by having it separately enumerated in the next one or in that one?
I think it should be separately enumerated.
Okay,
I
so
think so.
so why don't we say raise consciousness, raise community consciousness, support, and engage in fundraising? Or is that a separate action?
I think it just sounds repetitive of the next one.
Yes, I was going to suggest we'll take that out of
Oh, I see what you're saying.
what we would, including
Yeah,
raising
okay.
funds from the community is already going to be described above, whether we include it in support or whether we separately.
Basically shift that
Exactly right.
last,
Yes.
the end of 3 up
So
to 2.
yeah,
Okay,
so
got
we
it. Yeah,
could-
okay.
raise community consciousness and support, including raising funds for affordable housing.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so, and again, Susan, if
So
you would be the keeper of the wording on this, that'd
yeah,
be good.
let me just be sure I'm clear on what we've decided.
Sure, let's do that.
Develop
Right.
and advocate for town policy and bylaws in support of affordable housing. That's the first bullet. The second bullet is raise community consciousness and support, including raising funds from the community for affordable housing.
I don't think it's from the community needs to be said again, since we say community already.
Okay, including raising funds from whoever's willing to give us money. No, I'm not going to include that. And then the third bullet, I'm
Support-
not sure we've gotten there yet, but support the efforts of the trust and Wellfleet Housing Authority.
Correct, period.
Yes.
All right, so
Should you use the full names of the Wellfleet? What is it?
We will.
Housing? Okay,
We
all
will.
right.
thank you. All right, so those are the strategies we would propose. Would anyone like to suggest another one? Seeing none, then we should vote to agree that this is the mission statement and strategies of the housing partnership.
What about the thing that's below it?
Yeah, the next one we'll have to take up, which is, I think this is a separate, because those 3 above won't change from year to year. Those are really our raison d'etre, what we do all the time. The next one will be what we need to do now, or for 2022, or for the next couple of years. Is that okay with folks?
So say to accomplish this, the local housing partnership.
Well, I just wanted to vote on the top part first, Susan,
Okay.
and then we'll go on to the second part.
Did you make a motion, Gary?
No, I'm asking someone to make a motion.
Oh. I'll move that we approve the local housing partnership mission statement and strategies as amended.
Thank you.
Second,
Thank you, Karen. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for the vote. And if you would signify by raising your hand and saying aye if you're in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Very good. So the next question is, what are we doing right now and for the next year or longer to accomplish this? So we're certainly advocating the expansion, advocating for policy that expands affordable housing opportunities. We just did that.
Mhm.
Should we say, instead of opportunities, should we say bylaws and policies?
But what this seems to me redundant to what we just said above.
And also, it's so broad, Susan, that I'm not sure what it means. I mean,
I don't see that it adds anything to what we have
Yeah,
already said.
I think you are correct. What do other people think? This
Do
is
we
where
need, do we
we-
need this second section? I mean,
No,
It's
that's
only
what
a
I'm
question
saying.
of do we need to say more regarding our, if you will, objectives? If the first one is the goals. Harry,
Yeah, I was just going to offer that this piece is the specific strategies you're going to pursue to reach the goals.
right,
So you have three pieces: a mission statement, a set of quantifiable, measurable goals, and then a set of strategies to progress toward achieving those goals.
thank you, Harry, for that. You know what, maybe we should go back up to the above where it says the strategies and change that to the goals or the mission. Does someone have a preference, or does anyone like that idea?
I think, as I understood, Harry, we already have a mission statement, so we should probably change strategies, as you said, Gary, to goals, if I
Goals.
understood Harry correctly.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I'll assume that we have amended that to say goals. Do we need to, at this meeting, do you want to talk about what specific strategies and measurable things that we might do?
Is something like, hold an annual fund and consciousness raising event in the summer? Is that
Okay.
Exactly, or,
something? Like
We could say-
it's specific.
right, so we could say, let's just say for the sake of argument, that we will raise at least $50,000 in 2022 to support affordable housing. I'm throwing that out on this spur, so feel free to.
Is that a
Do we want to
strategy?
say how we plan to do that?
Well, the next one would be, under that would be, to hold events, to potentially do another mailing in the real estate taxes,
Okay,
to
so
develop.
I think those should be listed, right?
Do you think we need to list those specifically? Or would you like to list those
Well-
specifically?
I think that speaks to specifically what we're planning on doing.
Yeah, and as Harry mentioned, that's a measurable thing.
Right.
Whatever number we agree on.
But that's not a strategy.
No, now we're getting into what are the objectives.
Objective. Yeah, okay.
So is there a number that you are comfortable with in terms of a dollar amount, folks?
I think 50,000 as a
A
goal,
little.
fine.
Well, remember that
I
in
hope
this,
you made more than 50,000.
I was going to say, in this past December giving period, we raised over 40. So
Wasn't a lot of that from one person?
well, a lot is a relative term. 25 came from one person,
Yeah.
Jan, but still there were 16,000 in quote unquote small.
But more than half came from one person.
One person, right. And we have no idea whether that person will continue or not.
I guess I question, do we really need to have an amount as opposed to
Well,
what Sharon's talking about, listing different
Yeah, Jan, if we, in theory, you need to have it be measurable. And if you don't have specifics, it's hard for it to be
Okay.
measurable. And again, you don't achieve every goal. I'm just asking the question, what is the number we're comfortable with?
20,000? No, really?
Oh, you optimist.
You
No,
said 50, I'm trying to be more realistic.
I think it's appropriate to have a stretch goal.
Yes, I like.
So I think 50,000 is, I mean, I hope we could get more than that, but
Right.
And
I mean-
we raised a lot more in 2021 than the end of the year stuff because, we raised a good chunk over the summer as well.
Right, I was going to say, there was
Exactly.
15,000 that came out of the more than 15,000 that came out of the Housing Angels program. So I think 50,000 is not an aggressive number.
Okay.
no, I don't think so either.
Yes, are folks comfortable? So now, if we said our goal is to raise $50,000 in support of affordable housing, how are we going to do that? What are the specific things that we're going to do? And you already said, Sharon, repeat what you said there, a summer,
Well, Housing Angels, some annual Housing Angels summer programs.
excellent. We
Publicize
have,
the issues. You have to publicize the issues and keep the issues in front of the community.
yep. Maybe we will do Facebook posts, or maybe we would do at least one forum program.
I think those are great ideas. I also think maintaining a public presence in the local newspaper
Excellent. Yeah.
would be effective.
And we are working on accepting donations via credit card on the website. So that would be another methodology.
Is Harry's hand up or is Harry's
Oh,
hand?
I'm
not
sorry,
down?
Harry. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of gratuitous for me to suggest things for you guys to do, but.
No, jump in. We
but-
don't mind. Go
But-
ahead, Dan.
But I think in kind of summary form, what you want to do is develop and execute a strategy for keeping the public informed of housing needs and progress on addressing those housing needs. That's the kind of the publicity piece of it.
Okay.
I don't know if I don't know if you need to get more specific than that, but that's maybe a starting point for a discussion.
And I think that goes to the consciousness raising that we've already identified as part of our mission.
Yep.
So are you saying, members, you don't want to be specific, or shall we list them? I sort of like listing them. It's not that we're necessarily going to achieve all of them, but we have the
Well, I thought
housing.
that's what objectives were, kind of.
I'm sorry, Sharon?
I said, I thought that's what you're stating your objectives were.
Yes, yes, I think so too. Right. All right, so under Susan,
Yes. I'm completely lost on where
I
all
was going to
this
say,
is
if you
going.
can bring order to the chaos. So
Well,
to
let me
accomplish
say,
this, the LHP will raise at least $50,000 in support of affordable housing. And to accomplish this, we will have the Housing Angels program. We will continue to reach out to the community in various forms, including Facebook and publication.
Newspaper.
Yeah, newspaper. Another one will be to develop credit card donations on the website. Another one is to do a mailing through the tax bills,
Mhm.
which,
What
by the
about the
way,
newsletter?
I'm sorry,
What about the newsletter also?
yes, to put articles into the newsletter. Well, the newsletter, yes, you're right, Sharon. Okay, so, I think that gives us a specific goal. It gives us the activities we're going to do in support of that goal with regard to fundraising. With regard to the bylaws and town policies, we just went through one, but is there a specific bylaw that you want to pursue in the coming
Were we
year?
talking with CDP about multifamily housing?
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, we can explore strategies for multifamily housing. Promoting zoning for multifamily housing. I'm not sure what the right thing to say is. Right words. Do you members like the idea of making multifamily housing a focus for the coming year?
I do, and small lots.
Well, small lots, that's going, well, I don't know whether it will make it to the town warrant, but, we have already taken that action.
It has yet to be voted on.
Yep.
Ryan
Okay.
Curley might be putting something on the warrant. I thought I saw this on one of the draft warrants about making multifamily housing permissible in all zoning districts except the seashore.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It was on a draft. I don't know if it's gonna continue to be on a draft. I don't know. I don't think they had time to talk about it at the previous meeting. So-
Elaine or Harry, do you have any information on that?
I do not. I know he had a proposal that we discussed at a housing trust meeting to allow building of affordable housing, ADUs on otherwise unbuildable lots.
Right.
But
Yeah,
that's a
that's
little
separate.
different. That's
Yeah.
a different proposal. That's the only one I'm aware of.
Yeah, I'm not either, but I would just encourage you to talk about zoning, looking at zoning maybe more broadly. I mean, definitely multifamily inclusionary, looking at zoning that can advance.
Well, we
Look
always
at-
had that as our mission statement, Elaine, so now we're trying to hone in on
Oh,
what
okay.
specifically.
All right, getting more specific. I would support multifamily and inclusionary zoning if I had to pick two to go after.
Remember, this is,
Yeah.
if you will, we'll readdress this in next year. So for 2022, if we made multifamily, an effort to put multifamily zoning on the 2023 town warrant, that would be, that's a significant effort.
Yes,
Do people like that? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
So we have the fundraising aspect, we have the zoning aspect. I mean, support of the efforts of the trust and the WA is, beyond, we will continue to participate in their meetings and programs and support as needed. I don't know if there's a specific one right now that we can say.
We already said support the efforts
Yeah.
of the Wellfleet Affordable Housing Trust and Wellfleet Housing Authority, including raising funds.
Well, we took the raising funds and we put it above now.
That's what I mean. That's where we
Right.
said.
Okay, so I'm comfortable if you want to say that our two objectives for the coming year are to raise money and to promote multifamily zoning. I can give you another one if you want to take it on, which is ADU support programs, ADU creation support programs. Is that something we want to be engaged in or not?
What would that include, Gary?
Right now, I'll give you an example and I'll invite you to another meeting. On March 7th at 7 o'clock, the trust is meeting and we have a speaker coming from CDP. They received a grant, $1 million grant, to develop programs in support of ADU creation. And we have the person who runs that program coming to talk to us about what can we specifically do to promote ADUs in Wellfleet and look at financial incentives.
Okay, yeah, sure. Why don't we add that?
Yeah, so we could add ADU creation support under our bylaw activity.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
people like that, yes? All right, is there any other activity you would like to engage in the coming year that we haven't already articulated?
that sounds like enough.
I think so too. If we get half of it done, we'll celebrate. Okay, so Susan, I'm hoping that you will produce for us.
I'm gonna take a crack at getting this all down on paper, and not that you don't always all pay close attention to my minutes, but please read this with a critical eye and see
All right,
how well
Susan, I'm gonna put the pressure on you as that there is a meeting, actually, I think you are part of the meeting, on next Wednesday with MHP to finalize the mission statements of all of the groups. So if we could get this in the next couple of days, that'd be great.
Well, with each passing year, my ability to remember decreases. So therefore, I have to do it sooner and sooner.
I resemble that remark. So that would be great, guys. Thank you so much, Susan. All right. The next item is I don't have it in front of me, but I think is the Housing Angels program.
Well,
And-
it's the website redo.
Oh, the
but-
website. I can just tell you, I would encourage you, as you did before, to go to the website. We are making some progress on it. And we are also getting to the point where we're actually putting money down to buy our name. What is the name we are now, Elaine?
Well, we're Wellfleet Housing.org, but all our Wellfleet affordable housing communications will be directed towards wellfleethousing.org.
Excellent. So
How expensive is it to buy a name?
I think it's strangely expensive.
Well,
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Elaine will answer.
buying the name wasn't expensive, but we chose to buy the business plan with Squarespace, the platform we're using. Supposedly the name is free for the first year and $20 thereafter. And then we're also looking at using info@wellfleethousing.org as our consistent email address, and that should be free the first year and then cost $70 for.
Just out of interest, who do you pay that to?
It's to Squarespace, the platform that we're going to be using. I think the email is a Google. I'm not sure. Barbara Woodbury, our wonderful designer, is walking me through all this.
All right.
So,
Anything
Are
else?
there any, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, Karen.
No, are there any variations on this name that you might also want to own? Because in the past, I'm
Goodbye,
sorry?
everyone.
Oh,
I have to leave.
Thank
okay.
you, Judy.
Bye, Judy.
Bye, Judy.
Oh,
No, are there any other variations on this name that you might want to own also so that somebody else can't take it over? That's all. Just a thought.
You probably know more about this stuff than most of us, Karen.
Well,
Karen, can I ask, I actually have a serious question.
Yeah.
You think that there are some that we should quote unquote protect so
mhm.
that, someone can't come in, send us a couple.
Okay, let me think about that.
Yeah. And we'll
Yeah.
look into it. All right. Anything else on the website? So now I think the next order is Housing Angels. Now, we did have a communication from Stephen Russell via Watt that they will do, they will not take any cut and they will let us do what we want.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
So,
great. I
yes,
thought
no,
the email from, is his name Chris at
Chris,
Watt?
yes, right.
Yeah, with just anything, all we
Right.
asked for.
Yeah, so with respect to that, then what we have to do is finalize the ticket price. Remember, because this is the 40th anniversary of the Narrowland String Band, we were going to do 40 for 40. But there was some concern about whether that would exclude some people. And I was thinking about it, and could we say, like in the church, they say a free will donation suggested $40. Would that make it more inclusive?
I think that's what we did last year. I mean, it was a much lower price, but
Right,
we still
right,
made it a
right.
suggested donation.
Yeah. So it's,
Gary?
yeah, sure. Elaine,
You might just want to check if What is going to use their ticketing system. I don't know if that would be complicated
oh,
for them.
you mean for
That there
people to
wasn't-
pay something other than $40?
Or a set
Free
price.
will.
Yeah.
Right. Elaine,
Mhm.
for Yule for Fuel, I seem to recall people could give more or less. No?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, then
What
the
does
question
pay
is,
as you can nights though?
yeah,
It's
Pay what
true.
you can, yeah, so
Yeah,
they probably could.
but
do
you don't
something.
buy a ticket ahead of time for that.
right.
Hmm.
All right. So what do people think? $40, different amount?
One
I
of the
think the
issues,
important thing is to make sure it's clear to people that this is really fundraising.
Yes.
I think one question people raised is, $40 for one, $80 for two. How about
Yeah.
if you're bringing your whole family? Can we sort
Right.
of have a family price?
Right.
But I mean, I think Elaine's right. It all depends on, or in part, it depends on what Watt's system will allow us to do.
Can people pay more, Elaine? No, we had many people last year.
Yeah, we should have I mean, again, it depends on, will they allow a donation? The Preservation Hall's website lets you pay what you want and or donate more.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I think maybe just if you'd like Stephen to check in with Chris, or if now that you've all been introduced to him, if one of you wants to check in with him about the mechanics of doing that.
Elaine, could we ask, since you obviously, can you ask Stephen either now or in the future? We don't have to decide in January, but can we have a variable amount,
Okay,
and can people donate more?
yep.
And also maybe have a different price for children and
Yeah.
children
right.
under a certain
We
age.
don't want to
free.
make it too complicated, so. But anyway, let's find out if we can have variable amounts.
Are you going to charge $40 for a child, for an 8-year-old child?
That was where we would, Jan, the last meeting, we were saying $40 for a family, but then that was getting complicated too. So, let's find out whether we can have a variable amount, and then we'll come to conclusion on this.
But Jan, the answer is I don't think we ever would consider charging $40 for a
No,
bunch of
I
little
don't think
kids
so. I'd say,
per kid. I mean, we want
how
people
about,
to come.
how about
This
just
is-
children under 25 are free, or children under 18 are free?
This is fundraising, Gary.
It's fundraising, but it's also, you know,
Yes,
community awareness raising.
yes,
So,
exactly. And actually, I sort of like that, is that if whatever number we pick, if we can have a variable, let's find out. But we could say $40 for an individual, suggested donation, and children pay what you want or come free.
I think what has had a student price for years, so that could
Okay.
potentially be for many people.
Okay. All right, well, we will decide that. The other question we had was whether we wanted to have auctions. We had a couple of people who had arranged for the Modern House Trust donating a weekend, and shellfishing talk and tour, and Judy left, but maybe a quilt. Do we want to do an
Very-
auction, and how much money do we raise, and is it worth the effort? Yes,
Gary.
Sharon.
David and I would like to offer a week in the fall. It could be in the fall or in the spring, I think, at our house in Lieutenant Island.
Thank
the
you so
past,
much.
we've
That's
offered
very
that.
generous.
Offered it for various fundraising things, and it's usually done pretty well. So
Right. So the question is, how do we take advantage of this generosity?
so I think we should have an auction.
Okay.
And maybe we should not decide right now exactly the format. Can it be part of the event? Can it be through the website? Can it be a combination? And it seems to me it should, if we're going to do it, it should be promoted at the event, whether it's the place that it actually begins and ends. I just need to think about it a little.
Well, to have an auction, it has to, we need an audience to do that, as opposed to
You
a
can do it
raffle.
you can do it online.
Oh, all right.
I mean, but that's, you can do it both ways. You can pre-auction online and then have the final auction in person.
So let's put this on the agenda for next meeting to really finalize it, both in terms of, I don't want it to get, I've been to events where the auction sort of becomes the whole event.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take too much away from the Narrowland String Band, who has been kindly offered to play for us. So let's think about it, come to a decision about how to do it. And Susan, if you have actually an experience with that, that'd be great.
I have no experience, but that doesn't stop me from thinking about it. Now, I talk to the people at the hall who have also done it a couple of different ways.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Is there some sort of regulation, some kinds of permits you have to have for that?
I don't think so.
I have been involved where we had to get a one-day permit, and it was a housing related. When we did we had a booth at Oyster Fest,
Ah,
and we
But
had
that's
to get
different, right?
a one-day permit to do it. But it's very simple to do.
okay.
I
All
had
right.
another question.
Anything
which was-
else on this on
Yeah.
the summer event? Yes, Sharon.
Yeah, so were we thinking that we wanted Jason and Elizabeth to do a raw bar?
Yes.
Again, they according to Stephen's email, right? According to Stephen's email, that they would let us do that. So I think at some point they will have to get in touch with the Watt and figure out the best way to do that. But maybe we can wait until Stephen is back.
I'm just
Elaine,
saying that,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
can I just say, Jason and Elizabeth their raw bar schedule fills up quickly. So we want to.
Well, we have the date. Let's assume it's right. We have the date of the 7th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and have
Um,
we asked Elizabeth?
I believe she volunteered. I think we just, I tell you what, rather than make this a circular conversation, will you take it upon yourself to ask her, and at the next meeting, we'll
will.
firm it up?
She
I'll
she
confirm.
definitely offered to do it. I'm
Right.
not sure she has the date.
Okay,
Okay, perfect,
that
thank
sounds
you.
good. Elaine,
Yes.
when will Stephen be back this way?
April 9th.
April 9th. So, we need to finalize our discussions by April 9th.
Yeah, I mean, he's supportive of everything you want to do.
Right,
I think
right.
an auction can take 10 minutes. It doesn't have to overpower things. I would ask him, but he's actually out rehearsing to do a benefit for the public library here tomorrow, so.
Oh, excellent. All right, so by our April meeting, we will finalize all arrangements for our summer event. All right. I think the next thing on I want to report on the buy down. And so the buy down was completed, and I don't know if Megan has moved in yet or not. But
She did.
Karen, you know the woman who sold the house?
I do. Yes.
I was saying we really.
And her name has been mentioned. It's in the Independent article.
Is it Dorothy?
No, it's Nancy Lang.
Nancy Lang.
That was a great article.
Yeah.
Right. But what I'd like to do you think I'd like to what she did was wonderful. And from what we understand, the person who sold the previous buy down, if they didn't take less, they prioritized the local buyer.
That's what Nancy did. She told
Right.
The real estate agent that she wanted to find a local person to buy the house. Yes.
So we really need to do a better job of publicizing it, because I think
It's a problem. I'm not sure Nancy's going to be overly enthusiastic
right.
about.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, she was already, when I contacted her regarding the article, she was kind of like, I'd just like this to be,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I think we should just, as a committee, thank her personally. We don't have to make a
Right.
public thing about it if she's uncomfortable with that.
Would you like to know her email address?
Yes, if you, well, let's see. How do we publicly, do we want to do a letter and send it to her? Do you want to, how would you like to express our appreciation?
You're asking me?
I'm asking the group.
Yeah.
Should it be on behalf of the Housing Authority as well as the partnership?
Sure, I'm sure
Yeah.
Elaine would, I mean,
Yeah.
right.
I'm looking up her email, but I will find out I'll find out her mailing address. She lives in Cambridge, I think.
I would like to actually make it a formal motion that we send a letter of appreciation to Nancy Lang for what she did in support of the buy down program, for her generosity.
I second.
I also, okay, you're moving that, okay.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go.
Can I add to that?
Sure, of course.
Since she's uncomfortable, and I understand that, having her name mentioned, but could we maybe write a letter to the Independent saying that, that Wellfleet Housing Authority, the local housing partnership, the housing trust, however we want to say it, Wellfleet housing committees want to express, great appreciation for the two home sellers who have made our last two buy downs possible.
I like that.
Without mentioning names, but just, and we would love to encourage anybody else who is so moved, and please let us know if you fit into that quality. We need to really ride the buzz a bit.
Yes, right. We want to say thank you, and we also want to promote the idea.
encourage other people to do the same, yeah.
Well, Sharon, I know you're on the road. Are you in a position to do some wordsmithing on that, or you want to take a draft?
I can do a draft and send it to you.
Okay. And then, but,
You know,
right, so Sharon suggests that we both send a letter to her and write an article to the Independent. Write a letter to
not an
the,
article, just a letter to the editor.
yes,
Yeah.
a letter to the editor. How do folks, yes, you agree? Yeah. All right, so that is a motion. We want to express our appreciation, Nancy Lang, for all her support and generosity for the buy down program, and it's our intent to send a letter to the Independent expressing that.
Karen,
Without mentioning any.
does
I'm
her,
sorry?
does her name have an E at the end? Is it Lange?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, so I made that motion, so I don't have to ask someone to repeat it. Who will second it? Excellent. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays, any abstentions? Thank you.
Gary, what buy down number was that?
9, Elaine?
I think so, yes, 9.
And
Fine.
just as an FYI, we do hope to have another one funded in the April town meeting.
Oh,
Assuming we have an April town meeting. But anyway, the next town meeting via CPA. Okay, anything else on the buy down? I don't have the agenda in front of me. Is there anything else?
The only other thing, maybe we already discussed, zoning on the town warrant.
Yeah, that was the first item.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, got it. And then there were general project updates, if there's any other projects with updates.
Anything new on 95 Lawrence, Elaine?
No.
Okay, for those of you who, I think everyone knows that Payne Hollow was approved by the ZBA. Maybe Jan, can you give us an update on where does Payne Hollow?
I don't, oh, that was quite some time ago,
Yeah,
right? Where they wanted to make some adjustments in
Yeah,
how they
yeah.
were situating the buildings?
right. And
But
they
I
didn't have
thought
to-
the ZBA decided they didn't have to reapprove it,
Right,
that it
right,
was approved from before, that was
so as
in
far as
place.
we know, I think.
right, that, I mean, this was quite some time ago, so let me think about it. It was that the revisions that they needed to make in the plan were not, they were not extreme enough that they would have to reapply with new plans. They could just go ahead with the plans that they had and make the adjustments that they needed to make. That's all I know about it,
Okay,
and that was quite a while ago.
I think Payne Hollow is in the position now of re-looking for money.
Probably.
You know, it's been a
Yeah.
long time and whatever funding they had is long past, and I think they now have to get in line again to find money. Yes?
Yes, yep.
Any other project updates, Elaine?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Oak Kings Highway, as far as I know, is still on the docket for April, but we don't control that.
Right.
And we're still waiting for the RFP for Freeman Ave.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
Alrighty.
I think
Anything-
Wellfleet is on Mexican time.
All right. Anything else that anyone has? Before we adjourn, I have one request.
Can I just,
Oh, yes, Sharon, please.
I just want to say that I'm continuing to move forward with Susie Nielsen and Robert Schriefter, art gallery owners, And they're, you know, we haven't formalized plans yet, but they're working on creating a housing themed exhibition, hopefully
Terrific.
around the same time as the Housing Angels kind of, and Robert has some ideas for doing some other awareness raising around housing using art. So that's kind of interesting and fun.
Excellent. Anything else that anyone has?
Gary, the next meeting is March 26th,
March 24th.
24th. Okay.
But before we adjourn, I have one request. Sharon, can you take your
Yes.
computer and look out your window? So that we can see where
I
you
will.
are, and all we see is this beautiful blue. And there's the
Can
ocean.
you see the water?
Yeah.
That's not the
Oh.
ocean. Can you see the islands?
Where are you?
Sharon, where are you?
I'm in Baja, California, part of Mexico.
Yeah, pretty nice.
Right. Those of us who are expecting the storm, stay safe. Those of you in Mexico, also be safe, but enjoy.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you all for your time tonight. I'm sorry it went so long.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Be well, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.